Hello, welcome back to Rena and Cynthia Discuss. Welcome to another one of our videos that are going to just charm your socks right off. We are Rena and Cynthia, and we are the founders of ascendingcommunityoflight.org. Together with our strong community of light workers, we are creating a new earth of love, freedom, abundance, and joyous expression of our Mother, Father, God. And by exploring ourselves and our world, we're harnessing ways to raise our frequency and the frequency of the whole planet. So we encourage you to comment, like, share, subscribe as we grow this wonderful light worker community together. So Cynthia, what are we going to talk about today?
Well, today we're going to talk about leaving victimhood behind and taking responsibility for our lives, and taking as much as we can, hopefully 100% responsibility for our lives and everything in it. So one of the things that Rena and I have discovered on our spiritual journey is that in order for us to mature spiritually, we have to begin to not see ourselves as victims anymore, and to see ourselves as co-creators with the divine intelligence that we've been given as our birthright from our Mother, Father, God, from Spirit, from Creator, whatever you call it. We are powerful beings. So we want to share that idea with you tonight, and know that we all have really true immense power. And I don't think humanity as a whole has really discovered that yet. What do you think, Rena?
No, they haven't, and they haven't embraced it at all. You know, it's like, so if we ask ourselves, why are we doing this? Why do we need this video? And my biggest answer is because our world is in turmoil. Mm-hmm. It is in such chaotic turmoil.
It is crazy.
Not just our country, the entire world.
Yes.
And we are in turmoil with it, right? I mean, we're part of the collective, but I think each person listening to this video will also say that there's turmoil stuff going on in their lives. It's the way it is.
I agree. And I don't think there's anybody that I know that isn't in total confusion and turmoil, like you said, and chaos and not knowing which way to turn.
Yes.
So we're hoping that this video tonight can help you, because it certainly helped us to begin to not see yourself as a victim. And it is challenging, isn't it?
Yes.
To not see ourselves that way.
We might think that, oh, I've got this down. But then when we look at some things that really go on in our lives, we might catch ourselves. So it's a little bit of an awareness.
It is.
Kicking the butt. Yeah.
It really is. And some people have even said that being a victim is really a low vibe state of being, or that you're in a low frequency when you are a victim. And I've asked myself, why is that true? And thinking about that really deeply, I realized that when we are victims, we have lost our power. And I know that Creator has given us so much power to be, in fact, even co-creators. Mm-hmm. So when we lose our power and say, oh, I'm a victim and this person did this to me, or my boss did that, or my spouse said this, and we're giving our own power to other people.
Yeah.
And that's never a good thing, is it?
No.
Never.
And then it spins us down. So what does low vibe mean? Low vibe means that we're not in a state of love, joy, compassion. We're something other than that, right? We're so something happens at work, or something happens with the family, and we were feeling kind of good, and then this thing happens and it's their fault that now we don't feel well. We don't feel good. And that's not it. That's not it at all.
And I think as humans, I think that's really easy to do, don't you?
Yeah.
We've all been
that way. We're trained from early on.
From early on.
And the bully or the teacher or the boss, right?
Exactly. And even like think about sitting in your car and somebody cuts you off and then you're late to your really important meeting and you arrive at the meeting, instead of really being honest with ourselves and saying, well, I took a shower probably too long this morning and I got into the car at the exact same time that that person cut me off, and then that car accident happened up above, further up the road, whatever it is, and I get to the meeting late. What's the first thing we do naturally as humans? We blame the others.
Yeah, we
We
don't
say,
take
well,
responsibility and say, I left her, I didn't leave on time.
yeah, we say,
And
oh,
this
well, that
person-
guy cut me off. That bus, I was behind a school bus, which has happened to me a lot.
Yeah,
Or
it is annoying, I must say.
yeah, it is. But as we do those things, then we are giving our power away instead of saying, you know what, Mr. Boss, I was sleeping in this morning. I didn't really need a shower quite that long. I should have given myself more time because I knew it was during traffic, and I am responsible for being late this morning. I mean, how many of us really do that?
No, and you know what? Honestly, the boss doesn't want all those details. But the difference is that you walk in and you say, I apologize for being late. It won't happen again.
Yes.
You don't have to give them the details, right? But inside, you're not doing that. You know what it is. So yeah, that's just one good example that everybody can relate to.
Yeah, because I've done it. I've been blamed other people plenty, and that is not being a light worker and a light warrior and really shining forth the truth. And again, the truth will set us all free. The truth is I am responsible for everything in my life, including not giving myself enough time to get to that important meeting. So that's something really important. But as we've gone on our spiritual journey, we're going on it in a way that we're trying to be as conscious as we can in each and every moment of our own lives, our own situations, where we are, and trying to plan for that and really take into account. So we've come up with about 5 key points that we want to share with you today. Yeah. And this is such an important concept that Rena and I are hoping to do a course later on this topic of self-responsibility. But just for our shorter video today, we wanted to leave you with these main points. Number 1, as we awaken on our journey, number 1, we realize that indeed we do create our own lives.
So that's really important to take the first step to realize that. And many people, as you said earlier, can't even take that first step.
Yes. Yeah. Number 2, we are actually becoming aware that we are creating our lives with each choice that we make in each and every moment. So it's all about choices. And so we can have the choice to take responsibility in each and every moment, as hard as that is. And I know it will be hard sometimes to take responsibility, but you're going to feel, as I felt, and I know Rena has felt, great power when you do, I've been known to burn toast. That's one of the things that runs in my family. Actually, my mother burns toast. My sisters burn toast. I burn toast all the time. So I have to, every time I breathe in and I burn a piece of toast, I have to say, yep, I burned the toast.
And you need to take responsibility for that. And it's not the toaster's oven or the phone calls.
Right.
The phone call's responsibility, right? Or the toaster's responsibility. Yeah.
I've done it so many times that it's a joke now at every family gatherings. Oh, there she goes. She's going to burn the toast.
Well, you should come over here because they like it burnt over here.
Oh, okay. That's good.
So number 3, we are powerful creator beings. And we are actually manifesting in this world every day. So that's another concept that to some people is they've gotten it, but other people may not be there yet, where they really understand that we are creator beings. We are co-creating with our spirit, with our higher self, with our God, Mother, Father, Principle, the source of all love and light. We are creating in every single moment. And that's like one of the first steps before even taking responsibility, is to know that to really understand that we are creator beings and we're creating all the time.
Yes, for better or for worse.
Mhm.
We are creating. And that brings us to our next one. So it's important to realize that we can both consciously create what we want, or we can unconsciously create
Yep.
in the world. So we'll talk about that in a moment here. So,
Because we've all done both.
and we've all done both. And each and every moment, we're probably doing both, maybe even at the same time.
Yeah.
So, and then the number 5 is really important too, because this is not just a metaphysical idea, but I've really begun to understand how important this one is. We have put ourselves into this life, in this exact moment in time and space.
For a reason.
And there is a reason for that.
There's a higher reason why we're here. Yeah.
These simple 5 points, they're not very simple, but they can be expressed simply. But to understand them, we need to sit with them for a moment. What does it really mean? Do you want to talk about the next thought there? We're going back to recap some of these. So
our own choices are creating our reality. So who do we, if our own choices are creating our reality, then who are we blaming for our reality and what's happening to us? And the answer would be no one else. We don't.
Well, yeah. Who can we blame when we realize we're doing that?
Yeah.
Who can we blame? Oh, well, my mom made me do it, or my husband made me do it, or my dog made me do it. But then we have to really stop. If we want to be on a spiritual path and really grow and evolve, we have to keep asking ourselves this.
Mm-hmm.
Who can we blame? No one.
No one.
No one. And when we manifest in our world each day and we don't like what we're manifesting, it's very natural to blame someone else. Very, very normal and natural to do that. But it's to stop ourselves and become aware that we are blaming others when really we are making the choice. This is what we have created, and to take ownership of it. Not always easy to do, is it, Rena?
No, it isn't. And I want to interject a little point here because, if we are like blaming somebody else, so we're in a marriage situation or something, we're not happy with our spouse. Who said yes at the altar, right? Who's the one who decided to move in with this person?
Yeah.
Who's the one who didn't see the red flags coming? Like, it's take ownership of it, number one. And number two, always realize that everything happens with a divine purpose, and therefore this person is in your life as a mirror to what's going on inside of you. So taking a deep breath and going, what can I learn from this situation? And as I grow and move and learn from this situation, I won't need it anymore. And I will create something else.
Exactly. That was really nice. I love that idea that everything around us is a mirror. And I know that there's a Michael Jackson song that you mentioned.
I love it. Man in the Mirror.
Like.
My favorite.
Man in the Mirror. Now that made a big impact on you. Can you tell us about that? When you were probably a teenager.
Yeah, no, I wasn't a teenager.
No?
I remember
Okay.
I was married already, and I remember did it come out in the 80s, I think? But
I'm
yeah,
guessing.
if you want to take a look at yourself, now I can't remember the words, you put me on the spot. But
Sorry.
if you want to change the world, take a look at yourself and make that change. Basically, it's like instead of looking out there and trying to change everything out there. Oh, there's homeless people. Why can't they get work? Why can't they live somewhere? Or there's garbage outside, or there's this or that or this. It's a political mess. It's a this mess. It's a that mess. There's a mess everywhere we turn. But instead of focusing out there of what everybody else should do to clean it up, I love the idea of saying, no, looking in the mirror and saying, what can I do in my life to clean up my life? So if I'm going to express as something that's beautiful, then number one, maybe put myself together as in beautiful, say beautiful things to myself. clean my house, organize my desk, right? Clean my car, like make my own world beautiful and take responsibility for my world and stop focusing outside of ourselves. That's what
Yeah.
I love about that song. That's what it taught me.
And that is such a key point. And everyone right now in the world, everything is so chaotic. Excuse me. Everything is so chaotic, and it can be creative. So we can have some creativeness in this chaotic world. And I love that idea of stop looking outside of yourself and look inside, and to say to yourself, instead of judging Mrs. Smith next door, I'm gonna go back to my office and clean it up. I'm gonna go back to my home and make it better. And so really everything we have in our world is a mirror for ourselves and for our learning.
Mhm.
And that fifth point we brought up about being in this exact place and space and time is so key, because we could say, well, I don't really think that it was my fault and I'm not responsible for what's happening. Well, why did you come to be a part of this in the first place? Like you said,
Mhm.
I mean, you can take it all the way back to when you were born, right? So really, that's a bigger perspective. And it's also a spiritual perspective, we think, looking
Yeah.
at it from a whole and not just one little incident and saying, wow, I'm here right now. This is wild times and I chose to be here. So that's really, really
And that whole
important.
point about choosing to be here, that's another point. And that I think that we can really get into when we do our course on this. I think
Yeah.
it's going to be really fun exploring a lot of that.
Yes. So everybody's had examples of consciously creating what they want. And then unconsciously is a bit harder. So on the happier note, or in a positive way, one example in my life of consciously creating. So ask yourself, what have I consciously created? And be thankful for that. Be grateful. Be proud of yourself that you did it. You are
Mhm.
very powerful. And what have I unconsciously created? Well, that's maybe our shadow side, our challenge side, things that we maybe aren't that happy about. But one thing for me, for example, in consciously creating was I had an intention to work in a local community college. And I didn't know how I was going to do it, but I made a plan, I set my intention, and I went and created the situation. What's really funny is that I said to myself how many years I want to work there. And I told my husband, I'm going to give it this many years. And it turns out it was exactly what happened. So we have to be careful for how we phrase things and consciously
Yeah,
create,
be careful
because
what you ask for. You did. I remember exactly when you did that.
yeah. And then COVID comes along and I lost my job. So I had to realize that, wow, I really consciously created all that.
Yep.
And I chose
The
to be
universe
in
was
this.
listening. You said you wanted to be there X amount of years.
Yep.
And then
Yep.
something created in the biosphere that made it so that you would have to leave. Mhm.
Yep. And it did.
Yep.
So unconsciously creating, can you give us an example of
Yeah,
that?
there's a lot that people unconsciously create, right? I mean, there's 1,000 examples, but just when I know this woman who has a child at, well, not so much child, a young adult in college, and that that person's a little bit of a tough one to be around sometimes, and so mom doesn't always look forward to daughter coming home. But I've kind of noticed in the conversation that there's a focus on that. So with each visit, there's always something that's negative about the visit home. And so that's like, without giving details, that's just like a little example of your attitude, right? If you expect something to go wrong, it will.
It will.
Most likely.
Mhm.
So but yet if I were to say to her, you're consciously creating this negative space every time she comes home, I don't think that this woman would be able to accept that. So it's kind of in syntax, but at the same time, she is negatively talking about it, and each progressive visit has the same tone. And so, yeah.
Yeah. So that's an important point. We don't want to judge others and, push them. We just want to gently remind people that our goal is to be
Well, remind
consciously
ourselves. That's the important piece.
right, and remind ourselves that the most important thing is to consciously work to create what we want and not unconsciously create.
Right.
Or some people call unconscious creation miscreation. And I think that's really valid. And that can happen too. Like you said, she doesn't want it always to be negative, but because she's focusing on it, she's bringing it about through her repetitive emotional attachment to a certain outcome. Sounds like.
But
Right?
if you want to take that metaphysically one step deeper, you could say that is still in divine order, as everything is in divine order. And it will eventually be for her higher good to learn that lesson when she's ready. She's just not ready yet.
Right. And I think with taking responsibility for our lives, when we don't do it or when we don't understand something, we question it and we say, why? Why did that happen? And we look to find reasons. And I was in a car accident with my son many years ago. Gosh, he was about 15, 16 years ago. And I don't know why I created that situation. It was difficult. My car was totaled. My son was hurt a little bit. I was hurt more than he was. But we don't always know why something happens. And I think human beings, I know I do, I get caught with why? And I don't always get an answer. And the answer may come at the end of my life. I don't know why. All I know is that I did create that situation and I take responsibility for it.
The wisdom that comes, usually we can look back, usually we can look back and we can find some kind of healing or wisdom or say, if I hadn't gone through that really hard time, I wouldn't be who I am today. I'm a better person because I was in that rough situation.
Yeah.
But I think that comes back to another point that I want to make sure that we get to, which is this whole idea of having faith, having trust and faith in the universe and in our lives in the universe. So not just that the universe knows what it's doing, but that we in the universe are also being directed in with faith and trust.
Yes.
So that the unfolding that comes is for the highest good of ourselves, as well as the highest good of everybody. Like I think that when we are able to take that step and really feel the truth in that trust, then we don't end up doing the victimization thing. We don't end up blaming people because we can take a step out of our 3D crazy world and step back and then just say, it's all the way it's supposed to be. It's all going to be okay. I have trust that everything is unfolding. And what can I do now to create a higher vibe? What can I do to make it better and make it move faster in a positive way?
Right. So that responsibility brings us back to growing our soul, learning, expanding, and trusting, like you said, that your spirit knows what's best. You are here to learn. Earth is a school of learning after all. And we are learning and growing and trying to encompass more and more life experience. And in that, I think to end our video today is just to say, one of the first steps in maturing we have found is to remind ourselves that we are 100% responsible as we co-create. So we're going to end today with a few phrases that we have found are helpful. And maybe I'll say one, and Rena, if you'd like to say the next one. Okay, so one phrase that you can practice, and I know we certainly do, is I am a co-creator and divine human.
That's big.
Yeah.
That's big. Just to hold space with that. That's big.
Yes.
I'm a co-creator and a divine human.
A divine human.
Yeah.
You want to do the next one?
Yep. I'm getting there. I'm still holding space with the first one. I am
Good.
consciously creating the life I want.
Boy, that's great. I need to have that stamped on my forehead. I think I'm consciously creating the life I want. Yes. And take a deep breath. I take full responsibility for my life and everything in it.
Ooh, another big one.
Yeah.
I trust myself and know my soul, my spirit wants the highest and best for me at all times. Not only once, but delivers.
And will deliver, yes. Even if it doesn't look so good. And the last one is, I know I love myself. I love myself and I know that all is well.
I love myself and I know that all
That
is well.
all is well. Mhm.
I hope all of you listening can say that. Even if you can't say any of the others, if you can say that last one, I love myself
I love myself.
and I know all is well. So
Thank
our
you for,
spirits really need to get this.
yes.
I just want to emphasize this, that this is really, really important. If we are going to get out of this chaotic mess that we're in, if we're going to ascend, which is what we're doing in our channel, on our channel, we're helping people learn how to ascend themselves into a higher vibratory state. I don't know what that means, what that looks like, new earth, second earth, third earth. I mean, you know, you can go on about all that. I don't know what that looks like exactly. What I do know is that we're raising our vibration inside of us and we're letting go of those things that don't serve us any longer, those old programs. So we need to get this, and the world needs us to get this.
Mhm.
Our families need us to get this. So I'm challenging every single one of you that are listening right now to really think about this. Go back and listen to this recording again. Think about these two interesting, crazy, whatever you want to call us, ladies that are out here doing this, these best friends that are just having a good time talking about this really important stuff.
It's really important. And I can see the analogy of when you throw one little tiny pebble into a huge pond, the ripple effects go all the way to the shore.
Yeah.
So
you are so important.
Each person is so important. And we don't even know how important we are yet, but we're going to learn.
We're getting it.
And these are small steps, but this is a very important one, to leave victimhood behind, to take ownership of everything in your life, no matter what it is, and to love yourself through it all. So,
right. With that, I'm filled up. With that, I send blessings. And we're going to have the description down below. We have a Telegram channel. We have a Facebook page. We're two very busy ladies. We try to get on there and stay up to date on our social media. But please follow us, like us, share, help us grow, become a team member with us. We'd love to have you in our community. Right, Cynthia?
Yes, and blessings to you all and on your journey. And we'd love to hear how you're doing. So thanks so much for joining us today. Take care and blessings.
Blessings.
Till next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.